everybody. Welcome to another chapter of the book of Sean. People, it's good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. I'm excited about what we're going to do. I always say I'm excited because I actually am excited. And I'm from Brooklyn, so if I wasn't excited, I wouldn't say it. I'm actually excited about this show tonight. My sister Bianca's here. We're going to have a great conversation with her about dating, people. Love is hard to find, okay? Love ain't easy. I don't care how fine you are, how sexy you are, how tall you are, light, dark, black, white, it ain't easy. Loving somebody will drive you to drinking. And trying to find you somebody will drive you to smoking. My sister's here because I want to listen to her journey. She's had a very interesting journey. She's thinking about a few things, I get the sense, I don't know, but I'm going to learn. I get the sense that love has not been kind. And so, come on, you can relate to that, right? I know I can relate to it. And when you don't get what you want, when you think you should have it, you make certain changes. I want to hear what she's willing to change, not change, think about, out to buy. It's going to be a great conversation. We're going to do some Ask Dr. Sean because you guys sent me some great questions. And I'm going to do some headlines. Play the bumper. Let's talk about Lindsey Graham, people. You know, the senator from South Carolina. Let's talk about him. Because recently, he went on some show on Fox News and suggested that Vladimir Putin should be assassinated. He was like, we ought to take out Vladimir Putin, okay? Now, this is interesting. Listen, I'm not co-signing nobody, killing nobody in assassinations, all right? Because black folks, we know all too well about our leaders being assassinated. So I'm not even touching that with a 10-foot pole. But I thought this story was interesting because Lindsey Graham, let's just say, Lindsey Graham did not have a problem supporting his main man, Donald Trump. He had no problem supporting Donald Trump. He wouldn't even vote against Donald Trump. Now he wants to kill Vladimir Putin. And both of them were a threat to democracy. Teach, Dr. Sean. Sometimes you got to pat yourself on the back. Okay, Lindsey. Okay. First of all, America has a long tradition of killing leaders. Go and Google Patrice Lumumba and Kwame Nkrumah. All right? Kwame Nkrumah and Patrice Lumumba, go Google what happened to them and how America was tied up in the assassination of those two African leaders, one of them the leader of Ghana. But the most interesting thing about what Lindsey Graham said about Vladimir Putin is because, once again, the man would not stand up for democracy in America, and now he's ready to kill for it in the Ukraine. Oh, this is such an interesting time that we live in, okay? For 4 years, this man watched democracy be trampled on. But he was willing to do it because it was in his political interest to do. And that's why I wanted to do this story, to remind you that in America, it's all about personal interests, not about American principles. And that's what's wrong with American democracy. You can run over to the Ukraine all you want. You can send $7 billion, $14 billion of aid that's going over there. You can send all the aid and all the planes you want over to Ukraine, and it still won't change what you won't do in your own country. I need a studio audience in here for this. I'm just trying to tell you people, And here's the ironic thing. What motivates Vladimir Putin is also the thing that motivated Lindsey Graham and Donald Trump. Self-interest. They only care about what happens to them. You understand what I'm saying? Why do y'all care so much about freedom somewhere else? This is what I want. Whenever I want to, listen, this is going to sound terrible. I'm going to get blowback about this, but I'm so tired of the coverage of the Ukraine and the Russian war. It's just constant. And I'm just wondering, why are you people so invested in freedom and democracy somewhere else, and you won't even do nothing about it here? You know how I know? Because the John Lewis Voting Rights Act was not passed by some of the same people waving Ukrainian flags at the State of the Union the other day. How you going to fight for democracy over there, but you won't pass voting rights in your own country? Y'all care about freedom somewhere else, half a world away. Anyway. Let me move on because I'm about to curse. And I want Bianca to like me. I want her to think that I'm a good person because I get to talking about these people. Okay, let's move to Donald Trump because once I get started, I can't stop. Okay? Once I get started, I can't stop. So let's talk about Trump. This rant won't take long. Okay? But this isn't an important rant. All right, and here's why this is important. Donald Trump, that joker right there, was apparently told on election night that he was going to lose the election by members of his staff who were data specialists. And then days later, members of the Justice Department also came and told him, sir, you're not going to win the election, and you're not going to win the election, and there's no mass fraud going on. The point is, Donald Trump knew on election night that he didn't have the numbers, and he knew on election night and days later that nobody had done any mass fraud to take it from him. Okay? So everything he said leading up to January 6th insurrection, all of it was a lie. Everything he said was an unequivocal, unadulterated, unabashed lie. Bold-faced lie. He was lying and he knew it. Okay. Now, you say, Dr. Sean, we already know this. That's why we watch your show. Okay, I'm not saying this for you, okay? I'm saying it for the now 40% of Republicans who apparently don't want Donald Trump to run for re-election, because apparently 40% of the Republican Party are starting to get their minds back. 40% of the Republican Party have said, we don't want Donald Trump to run for re-election. We don't want him to run again. And so I'm saying this for the 40% of the Republicans out there who are starting to thinking like human beings again. Because I want you to know, well, I'm not trying to shame you, although you deserve to be shamed, that you was lied to. Okay? This man lied to you. Let me tell you how it works in my house, okay? My mama used to say, you can break something, you can spill something, but when I ask you about it, come on, black folks, y'all know what I'm about to say. My mom used to say, you better not lie about it. Because I can deal with the breaking, I can deal with the spilling. It's the lying that's going to get you in trouble. Okay, 40% of the Republican Party, guess what happened to you? You was lied to. I don't know why that's so funny to me, okay? I'm just happy you guys are starting to get your mind back and you don't want this man to run again because he's going to ruin your, well, he's already ruined your party. Well, you guys helped him. Listen, here's why I'm really saying this, all right? You ready? Because I understand that a part of therapy and a part of recovery is acknowledging the behavior that got you in trouble. That's why I'm doing this. This is a part of your therapy. Because the behavior that got you in trouble was the fact that you was lied to. And you wanted to be lied to. Okay? Okay. It's not recovery if you don't have an honest conversation with the truth. So to all of my 40% of Republicans who are finally realizing that Trump shouldn't be president, I'll just say it again. You was lied to. Don't let that happen again. All right, let's move on. Let's move on, okay? All right, I got 2 more of these to do. So let's talk about the Russian tea room because, you know, in New York City, there's something called the Russian tea room. That's it right there. And it's a ritzy, ritzy-pritzy kind of place in New York, you know. It's a New York iconic place. Apparently, to all my, this headline is for all my friends in New York, all my dear viewers in New York. You guys know I'm from New York, love New York. Keep that up there. Perfect, okay? So everybody in New York, please hear me, all right? The Russian tea room, it's not owned by Russians. Stop picketing and boycotting the Russian tea room. It's just a name, people. The Russian tea room happens to be owned by a company of investors that are incorporated in New York City, in New York State, by the way. So New Yorkers actually own the Russian tea room, okay? Everybody's just so crazy against Russia that people have been boycotting, not going to and picketing the front of the damn Russian tea room. I don't know why we're pouring out vodka, because I'm not doing, anyway. Stay with me, John boy. The point that I'm making is this. The Russian tea room isn't Russian, people. Calm down. The people that work there are trying to feed their families and keep a roof over their head, and you out there picketing. You won't go eat at the Russian tea room, and these people are going to lose their job. Okay? I need y'all to go back into the Russian tea room and have some hors d'oeuvres. Have you a steak or something. Have you some of that vodka that man was pouring out, unless it's from Russia. Because not all vodka comes from Russia. Ask Diddy. Are you following me, people? We so quick to boycott something that we wouldn't boycott is the wrong thing. But this brings me to my larger consideration that I had to get you because this is important. One of the things I'm noticing is how different the war in the Ukraine happens to be covered than the war in Syria. Because what the Russians did in Syria is really no different than what the Russians are doing in the Ukraine. The only difference is the Russians are doing it in the Ukraine to white folks, and they did it in Syria to brown folks. Hold on. Wonder why it's being covered so differently. Wonder why you see it all day, every day, 24 hours a day. Everybody's embedded in Syria. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in the Ukraine. Anderson Cooper done damn near moved there. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and I'm all for peace, and I'm all for people having liberty, and I don't want nobody to die. I'm just wondering, why do you think the two wars were covered differently? Is Ukraine more important than Syria? Is the Ukrainian life more important than a Syrian life? Why do you think the media gins up so much when it comes to war in Europe? I said this before. I'll say it again. If Ghana and Nigeria were fighting each other, you think it would even make the papers here? And why is it automatically assumed that a war in Europe will end up in World War III? Europeans have been fighting each other the entire time that I've been alive. The entire time. In fact, Russia has invaded other European countries in the last, 8 years? What's so different now? I'm all for freedom, I'm all for democracy, I'm all for people keeping their country, and I'm against Vladimir Putin emphatically. But I think it's quite conspicuous and noticeable that how the media is covering the war in Ukraine is very different than the way they covered the war in Syria. And I can only see one reason why. I'm going to let you figure that out. Let's do my last story tonight. Brittney, Griner? Did I say it right? Griner, thank you. I had to ask Steve-O, who barely pays attention to what I'm doing over here. Brittney Griner. You guys know Brittney Griner is detained in Russia, being held on alleged drug charges. And apparently she was headed back to the States when authorities in Russia found marijuana or CBD oil products in her bag. And Brittney is a proud member of the LGBTQ community. She's also, that community is banned in Russia, by the way. And also marijuana and CBD products are also banned. So she's in a world of trouble. And she was only in Russia because WNBA players play overseas to supplement their income because they don't make enough in the WNBA not to have to go to dangerous countries to play to make a living. Before I say anything else, we should probably work on the fact that women in the WNBA should not have to go to other countries and be put in harm's way to make a living. I think that just sounds right. But you know, I'm addicted to sounding right, so I don't know. Well, let's talk about Brittney. So, I understand that President Biden is working on this, and I think that he should, and I hope that everybody who's a part of this will work to get her home. Brittney needs to come home. She needs to be freed. A black woman should not be a pawn in white people's wars. Sorry. Don't get mad. Get better. This black woman should not be a pawn in somebody else's war. She should not be used as a piece on a board to be moved around. And so let me say, I'll end with this. The Ukrainian government, they're meeting with the Russian government to talk about, ceasefires and all that. And I say to the Ukrainian government, to the Ukrainian president, who's on television every night now, I say to him, sir, I know you got a lot going on. I know you get a lot of bombing going on in your country. But I would please ask you, sir, bring up Brittney. So when you're over there meeting with the Russians about a ceasefire, since you get a lot of money from this country now, and you've gotten a lot of arms from from America, and we've gone out of our way to make sure that you've been supported by the West, bring up Brittney. Ask the Russians, the Russian foreign minister, and the Russian president to liberate her and set her free. Because I see you on TV every night, Mr. Zelensky, asking America and the West for a lot of things, and I'm not saying you don't deserve it, but here's the one thing we ought to be asking from you. Bring up Brittney and make her a part of your discussion, because this blessed sister needs to come home, and she should not be caught up in other people's mess. She didn't do anything wrong. She's just doing what she probably have done 1,000 times. So, hashtag bring up Brittney, hashtag bring home Brittney, because she's a part of us. and we won't rest until we get her back. But here's the last thing I'm going to say before I take this break, okay? Because y'all know I come at it from both sides. You ready for this? Bianca, you ready for this? Listen to this, Bianca. The next time y'all go to a foreign country that's at war with the rest of the world, you should probably take the marijuana and the CBD oil out your bag. The next time you in a foreign country and the foreign country is already at war with the rest of the damn world, including your country, you should probably leave the weed there. Okay? You know I'm right. You know I'm right. Let's take a break. My guest is coming out next. Welcome back, everybody. So here's what I know for sure. I know that finding someone ain't easy. Ain't easy as it looks. You know what I'm saying? No, how about this? Let me say it better. Let me edit myself and improve my statements. It ain't that hard actually to find someone. It's hard to find the right one, right? And you can find some people that want you. But the question is, do you want them? My guest tonight is a charming, blessed sister. She has a journey and a story to tell. Welcome to the show tonight, Bianca Banks. Hey, Miss Bianca.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It is my pleasure. I love your energy and your spirit already, just so you know.
Good.
I saw you laughing during my headlines. I'm like, anybody laughs at my jokes, I love them already. That's why I don't like Steve-O. He don't laugh at my damn jokes. Get on my nerve. Anyway, all right. So let's get into it, all right? Because this is a topic that people want to hear about. Everybody wants, and by the way, you are a beautiful woman. And so it makes it even more interesting when I ask you this question. So why do you think you're having such a hard time finding the right one?
I really don't know. I live here in LA, and I find that it's harder to date here in the city. When I go to like the South or to the East Coast, I always meet people. I feel like you have, like, when you're walking down the street, you're trying to, get people to leave you alone. But here in LA, it's not like that.
I don't have that problem. I've never had that problem. Listen, I honor beauty. It's just not my gift, but keep going.
Yeah, well, thank you for saying that I'm beautiful too. That was so nice. But yeah, so it's just really difficult. And I don't know if I should, get into online dating. I don't know if I should vet some people, so I'm kind of stuck in trying to find a partner. And I want a partner.
Okay. So let's dig into it a little bit. All right. So let me ask you this. What's been the hardest part?
I would say just meeting people in general, because
really?
Yeah, I like to be organic. And again, I don't do online dating, but I feel like just meeting people or the circles, I'm not finding, I don't know if it's that I'm going to the wrong places. And one of my girlfriends was like, you know what, let's not do what like go to the places that we would go. Like, let's go to maybe like sports bars or things that like guys would go to. And then maybe we would meet someone, And
what happens when you go there?
Nothing. Nothing. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's just too like the type of man, the quality of man. It's like LA is just not the place.
So what are you encountering when you go to these places? Give me the archetype of the kind of guy you're meeting.
Yeah. So I would say a person that is just kind of like not serious, a person that just, they just kind of want to like just go right to the bedroom type of thing.
I was just about to say, have sex.
Like, somebody that's not vested. And I'm looking for someone who's God-fearing. I'm looking for someone who's woke, as we would say. I'm looking for someone who's emotionally available, most importantly, and doesn't have baggage or, and I think here that like a lot of people, they are just like maybe playing around, or they're already in relationships. They don't know what to, they're like just messing around, not serious.
Yes. Did you think it would take this long?
No, but I also feel like maybe, like a lot of times we have like a long list of things that we want, and so now like in talking to my friends too, I'm like, listen, we're not going to meet somebody that checks all of your boxes, but let's just kind of like get in the door at least and find some people that are eligible, And so I don't know too if like that would take, I'm looking for black love. So I don't know if that would take me out of, okay, let's just widen the scope and maybe, date other races too,
Listen, my producers told me that that was a part of your ethos, and we're going to talk about that just a little later on, okay? Because I really want to delve into your commitment to that,
Sure.
because I think it could be a blessing, and I also think it could be cumbersome and problematic. But let's beg that question for a second, because I want to dig just a little more into what you thought the journey would be like. And I'll tell you why I'm asking before you answer, because you represent so many people, men and women, who, right, when we started on the journey to love, we had a vision of how this would be, right? And I want people to sort of get a sense of how did you think it would be, and how's that different from what it's actually become?
Right. Yeah. I think that's a great question. Thank you for asking me. I feel that, we all want, like, it's like, okay, I'm going to have, I'm going to meet someone. We're going to have the house, the white picket fence. We're going to have kids, and a lot of times when I'm with my girlfriends, it's like nobody, is married and no one has an intact, like they may have children, but they don't have, the father that's been present. So it looks a lot different than what we imagine when we're like little girls,
Okay. Oh, stop. I just had an aha moment. Ooh, I just had an aha moment, because a lot of times, and respond to this, a lot of times we think the problem is what we're dealing with now, as opposed to the problem being what we were taught when we were younger. Maybe the problem was the fantasy.
Mm. That's so deep. That is so deep, and yes, and two, I'm learning that relationships look different. You know what I mean? Like maybe you won't be married, but maybe you'll have a lifetime partner. Maybe you won't live together, but you'll still have a lifetime partner. Because a lot of times too, when you're dating, in a older age group, it's like people have children on both sides. So there's also the issues of like merging households and, and things like that. So it just may look different. So
yeah. Listen. I made the point, and then you elaborated on it perfectly. Because that's exactly what I'm saying, right? We were fed when we were younger this notion of you find somebody, you fall in love, you get married, you have kids, and you're married for 60,000 years together, right? Only to discover that paradigm wasn't even working for the people that gave it to us.
It's true, yeah.
That wasn't what happened with them. You know what I'm saying? And so here we are thinking that something is wrong. And what I want to say is, no, here we are dealing with how things are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. It's true. I mean, and I think too, like, I'm a really open person as far as like I'm understanding. And I think that I'm realizing that it doesn't look like the fantasy that we kind of all bought into.
Yes.
But also it's just difficult to just finding people that are eligible to be dating, because I think too, it's like there becomes an issue of time and quality. And it's like, well, I don't want to waste time with somebody that's, playing around and not serious, So I feel like maybe I should date online, because it gives you too more of like a vetting process.
Yeah. Give me 2 or 3 things that you're absolutely just sick and tired of dealing with. Just 2 or 3 things.
I would say getting the text at like 2 or 3 a.m. like, hey, can I come cuddle with you? I'm tired of that. Because I'm like, we haven't even gone on a date yet. How are we going to like, what is going on? And so it's like, yes, I'm tired of that. I was getting ready to go off on that one. No.
Be my guest. Just go ahead. Let the Lord have his way with you.
Yeah. So, and I'm also tired too of, I think there's a lack of like the development stage and like the friendship, like you have to put the foundation in, and you have to really get to know someone, and they have to really get to know you. And I think that there's just kind of like it's almost like a something that's like, they're speeding through this, like a speed process now. And it's just right to like, okay, so are we going to be together? Are we going to date? And then if you do skip that phase, then you kind of look up and you're like, wait, who is this? Who am I dealing with?
Right.
And I'm also at the point where I'm like, I think that like in my previous relationships, like, like when you're in bliss and when you're like, when you're really enamored with someone, it's like you're ignoring all these stop signs. And it's like, I'm not doing that anymore either. It's like, pay attention.
Yeah, no, that's so. I was just about to ask you. I was about to ask your permission to push you, and ask you, what do you think you're doing wrong?
Yeah, no, I think that that's a great question. And I think that now that I've had these experiences and I've kind of, had a couple of rough patches, that now I'm able to say like, okay, hold on a second. Let's really, change the criterion, and again, that just may mean, finding someone that even lives in a different country, I mean, I don't know, it like, I really do want to explore all options, because it's like, my man just can't be here in LA. They could be somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, I'm a firm believer that when the heart is ready, love will show up. That when you've learned the lessons you've needed to learn, so that you don't make the mistakes that might kill you, love will show up and flourish. And it sounds to me like you are steadily learning those lessons and you're coming to form. Now, before we take this break, let's go into this real quick and we'll pick it up on the other side. I know you have a commitment to black love, right? I know you would like to have what's called black love. So why are you committed to black love? Why black love?
Wow. I mean, I just think that, because I love it. I mean, I'm just such a supporter of us, and whether that's black or brown, I think that, I think it's beautiful, and you just kind of feel like too, like you're in a like-minded space.
So, perfect. So what is it about a black man that would make a black man most perfect for you?
Oh, wow. I just think that it kind of, it just, again, I think there's just a commonality between somebody that's black and black, just like when you were talking earlier and you were saying, oh, well, you guys know, like when you grew up, you guys already know what I'm going to say. It's like, yes, I already know what you're going to say because my mom would say the same thing, And I think too, like when you kind of transcend to different races, like there's that communication barrier on those things that are kind of like, home for us.
Okay, listen.
Yeah.
We're going to talk more about this on the other side because I agree and I also disagree, okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to tell Bianca what I think about that. But before I take this break, to all you guys out there who are sending let's cuddle texts before you went out on the date, stop that. You're making us look bad. How you going to cuddle without even meeting the person? We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. So, Bianca, so let me push you a little bit and ask you this question. Because when we took our break, we were talking about black love. And obviously, I affirm, I had a guest on whose name I won't mention, and he is just totally against interracial dating. And I just, here's my question. let me just get to the question. And here it is. What would you do if the perfect person for you turned out not to be black?
Accept it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would embrace it. It just may not look like how I thought it was going to look, but I feel like there is a person for me and God is going to bless me with someone. So whatever
you're open for that.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you're okay. Good. I just needed to know that. I needed to know what to work on here. Okay. Good. Because I agree with that. Right. Sometimes the love you need does not come in the form you thought it would. Right. And the challenge for every heart is one of my favorite questions to ask people, Bianca. I'm not asking you, but I ask everybody this parenthetically. And here it is. What would you do if the love you always needed came in a form you might not normally accept? Like that's a
yeah. Well, that's kind of like a tough one though too, right? Because are we talking about like another female? So, or are we talking about just male, but just not the way I thought it was going to look?
I'm, I don't know. Don't ask me. I just ask the questions around
Okay.
here. Because
Because people say that a lot too, but I'm like, no, like I know that I'm looking for a man, you know, but I think that it would definitely be a journey, but a journey that I would be open to because I think that, no matter which way it comes, love is beautiful and it should be blind. So,
well, listen, good. But listen, it's always good to know what you want. It's always good to know what you are attracted to and what you're not attracted to. But it's also always good to have that question put in front of you so that it can confirm what you already think or it can unsettle what you don't realize you think yet. So if I'm getting this correctly, your issue is only finding, right?
yeah.
Okay, got it. I just want to make sure. So okay, so what are you doing? Are you doing online? Are you on dating apps? Are you open to that? Active in that yet?
So, you know what? I'm not on apps yet, but I am kind of like in
Okay,
heavy
why? Tell me
consideration.
why you're not on. I don't know. What's the apps? Tinder, Bumble, Black People Meet, Plenty of Fish, Hitch.
Yeah.
They're telling me in the ear. This is good. Y'all doing good in this control room. Um, farmers only. This one where you can meet. You can meet a farmer. Why are you not on these apps? Talk to me, Bianca. What's going on?
I just feel like sometimes, like, so some of my girlfriends are on the apps, right? And then they'll say, like, oh, I saw, Christy on there, which is like somebody else we probably know. And I'm like, ooh, like, I don't want people like really in my business knowing, like, oh,
Oh, no, 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 no,
you
no,
know,
no, no,
that's,
no, stop, 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 stop. I have to stop you because I like you and I love you as my sister. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
I, Here's what I always say. I got some good news for you and I got some bad news for you. Which one you want
Okay.
first?
I want the bad news first.
Okay, the bad news is sometimes the only way to win is to look like a fool.
Okay.
Here's
And the good news?
the good news is when you put yourself out there and you don't care how you look or what people think about you or what people will say about you because they're already talking about you, they're already snickering about you. When you stop giving a damn about that, that's when love says you're ready. Because
Okay.
love says now she's ready. She's committed to her heart and not her reputation. Bianca, if you was here, I'd slap you with my shoe. That's how good that was. That when you get to the place where you don't care, where you don't care. That's where I want you to get. Are you feeling me?
Okay. Yeah. I feel you.
Yeah. No, 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 no.
I
If
feel
they see you on it, so what?
you. Yeah. Yeah. And one of my friends, like her mom was looking for someone and she's like in her late 60s, maybe early 70s. And she's like, well, I don't know what to do. Should I get on the app? And she got on the app and she was like, there was like 50 messages like within like 3 hours and she found someone, you
You,
know, and he,
Bianca, you're gonna get 300 messages in the first week. Okay, you ain't gonna
okay.
have a problem. Your
Okay.
problem is gonna be trying to decide who you're gonna reach out to and keep in the skew of it all. All right, you ain't gonna have a problem finding nobody. I'm saying to you that it's just a matter of, and it goes back to where we started, right?
Hmm.
Disavowing ourselves of original notions that are not only not true but not working for us,
Sure.
and allowing ourselves the freedom that we need, the liberation that we need to put ourselves in a position to get what we want. And I'm not saying that an app or a dating site is going to answer all of our prayers, right? It may not. But the one thing it will do, it will allow you to say to God, to the universe, and to yourself, I did everything I could do to be in the right place at the right
Sure.
time. I did my part. Now I need something greater than me to help me with this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
As
Right.
I say that, what do you think? What do you feel when I say that?
Well, I think I'm feeling to kind of divorce myself from all of these original concepts and notions that I had of what it looked like just to even meet someone, and to kind of, open myself up to marrying a different type of analogy, I guess.
Yeah, yes, yes, yes. Greatness, intimacy, and love all demand one thing of us. They all demand the same thing: courage.
Mm.
Courage. Not bravery, because people are born brave. That's just, they just got it. They'll rush out into the middle of a fight. That ain't me. But courage, right? Courage is a commitment to a goal. Courage is a commitment to a principle that I will brave what I have to go through because I'm committed to this outcome, or I'm committed to this principle, or this whatever. And I'm saying to you that what I speak into your life tonight is courage. The courage to say that's not working for me. I don't reject who gave it to me, but I reject what they tried to hand because it's just not working for me. And I have the courage to look however people are going to say I look when I decide to be on Plenty of Fish or whatever it is, right? But how about this? The courage to risk the possibility that you just might win, that you just might find him, that you might wake up 6 weeks from now and be completely enthralled in one of the best relationships you ever had in your life.
Sure.
Yeah. Here's my last question, because they want me to take a break. Here's my last question,
Okay.
all right? Give me a yes or no answer on this. Have you ever truly, truly, truly in your heart, in your soul, in your mind, outside of your family, have you felt like you've ever been loved?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Good. So you know that experience. Perfect. So here's my parting word. Then I want you to give yourself a chance to have that experience again, okay? And step on out there and trust yourself to know that if your intuition tells you somebody's not right, something's wrong, go with it, because there are, what does the app say? There are plenty of fish in the sea. There are plenty of fish out there who would love a chance to be with you, okay? I think your only issue is you've limited where you can find them. Open that up, and you're going to have the opposite problem. You're going to come back on the show and be like, Dr. Sean, I don't know why all these people won't leave me alone. Are you with me?
I'm with you.
All right, Bianca, thank you for coming on tonight. I so enjoyed talking to you. Come back and see me, okay?
All right. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Don't you go anywhere, because we're going to do some Ask Dr. Sean after this. And y'all know Bianca's going to get a lot of dates, all right? That's a beautiful black woman. She's going to be fine. All right? And so are you, people. Don't you give up on love, because love loves you. And I do too. Get on the dating apps, people. Find you somebody. You ain't got to be home alone right now. You could be texting somebody, because, people don't actually date. They just text. Anyway, let's do some Ask Dr. Sean. All right. You guys always send me great videos, and today is no different. So let's watch this video together.
Hey, Dr. Sean, my name is Lonnie and I'm from Wisconsin. I need some advice. I just got a job offer and I will be the only black at the company. Should I see this as a problem or a start to overcoming barriers?
Do you need a job, Lonnie? do you need to pay some bills? Okay. I say that, because, would it be great if the job had more black people? Sure. But it's not like you would be the first black person to ever have to work at a company or be in a situation where you were the only black person. I think the way you decide if you do this or not is you have to weigh your needs above, over and against, or next to your desire for a more culturally comfortable situation. If you're not pressed to find a job, if you're not pressed to pay some bills, then maybe you say, I'll wait to find a place that has more of a history or a track record of empowering black folks to be a part of what they do. But I'm saying to you in uncertain terms that because no other black people are there, I'm not sure if that would be a sufficient reason for me not to work there. If I had, kids to feed and a mortgage and some rent to pay. You know what I'm saying? But it might be a red flag. It might definitely be a red flag. So if you take the job, maybe you take the job under the assumption that you understand that you won't be there long. But it's a very complicated scenario. I happen to think that we're living at a time when companies and corporations should be much more vigilant about who they hire and much more committed to diversity. But I also understand that we don't live in Wakanda, that we don't live in a wonderful place where people do everything they're supposed to do in the way that they should do it. Again, I want to bring you back to what your needs are. If it is the overriding principle of your life that diversity is the thing that drives you, then don't take the job. But if you have a serious need to make sure that you have steady income and employment because there are people depending on you, then take the job with circumspection. Take the job with your eyes open. Take the job with a plan that this job may not be as permanent or as final as you might like it to be. All right, somebody emailed me a question. Here it is. Recently, a friend of mine asked me to run an errand for her. While I was running the errand, she called and asked me to do 3 additional things for her. She has a habit of tricking me into doing things for her. How do I tell her to stop taking advantage of me without being combative? This is a great question. This is a great question, Steve. I'll tell you why. Because I get to answer it using one of my favorite little words. You ready? 2 letters in the whole word. No. No. That's how you deal with that without being combative. You just tell people no. Here's how it goes. Can you pick up my pizza? No. Can you run to the store and pick up some milk for me? No. Or this is even better. Can you pick up this? Can you pick up my cleaning? Sure. And then while you out picking up the cleaning, the person calls you and says, "Oh, can you pick up the dog food for me?" No. No. I'm not your errand person. Okay? It's empowering. I want to empower everybody to say no to people who are either taking advantage of you or not adding any value to your life. Just say no. You don't have to negotiate. You don't have to argue. You're talking about being combative. There's nothing combative about no. It's just I'm not doing it. No. Love yourself enough to be able to tell people what your limits and your boundaries are. Okay? And there's some people in my life, and I have people in my life who do amazing things for me. I ask them to do something, and they're willing to do amazing things for me. And I truly honor and truly appreciate and so when I try to add value to their life because they do amazing things for me. So I'm always trying to add whatever value I can. If this is somebody in your life who's asking you to do a bunch of stuff and tricking you into doing more and not adding any value, it's not her I want to slap, it's you. You need somebody to give you a slap with a wet banana. Because you're not a victim. You're volunteering. You're raising your hand and saying, use me, take advantage of me, abuse me. And I'll go 3 more errands for you. It's not about being combative. No is a wonderful tool given to us by the great creator of the universe to protect us from other people's narcissism and crazy. And so in this moment, on this day, on this glad and beautiful occasion of the conversation that we get to have and coalesce together, I summon out of me all of the power of the no, and I hand it over to you, that you might use it not sparingly, but judiciously, and apply it to all the people in your life who, if they were in my life, I would tell them, hell no. Let's take a break, people. We'll be back with more Ask Dr. Sean. Welcome back, everybody. So Steve-O over here thinks that it's okay for a guy to text a woman when you haven't been on a date to say, let's cuddle, let's cuddle. He thinks it's okay. And he justifies it by saying, if everybody's cool with what's about to happen, then what's the problem? I don't know. Tell me what you guys think in the chat. Chat, take that and run with it. And in the meantime, let's do another Ask Dr. Sean question. Play the bumper back there. Let's watch this video together. Go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Sean. I need your help. My name's Andrea. I'm from New York, and I've recently just found out I was pregnant. Now, my significant other lives in a whole other state. My parents told me that if I move to where he's at, they won't support me anymore. So I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. Do I move or do I listen to my parents and stay right here? Please help me.
Wow. First of all, shout out to all the New Yorkers, because you know I love you, because you know I'm from New York. So shout out to you being from New York. Very difficult and unfortunate position to be in. And let me just say that you should not be in this position. I lament at the aggrandizement of your parents to really sort of manipulate, manage, control. Anybody who's willing to give you an ultimatum of that type is not operating out of concern, they're operating out of control. And I lament that you have to deal with that. Okay, but here you are, okay? Lamentation notwithstanding, here you are. Having done what we do to get pregnant, here you are. Having been with someone who is out of state and not in the same city, here you are. Having been born to parents who would put you in this position, here you are. And I want you to know that you are adult enough, you are strong enough, you are woman enough, you are mature enough, you are you enough to be able to handle the moment that you're in, okay? And here's how you're going to do this. You ready? You're going to decide what is most important to you, what you value. What are your highest and deepest devotions? And that's going to be the thing that helps you decide and determine what you should do. I don't know what your deepest devotions and highest commitments are. You know. And if you don't know, this is a wonderful opportunity for you to discover what they are. Because on the one hand, your parents are telling you if you move to be with this guy, we're not going to support you. But on the other hand, you have a guy that you're having a baby with, and you might have a chance to have a family with, and you might have a chance to have a future with, and the kid might have a chance to have a father with. And both of those things are important. And you're going to have to ask yourself, what's more important to you? The security of the support of your parents, or the insecurity of the possibility of having a life and a family and an outcome that you or your parents can't control? That's where you are. And it's okay to be there, okay? What I would invite you to do in no uncertain terms is I would invite you to just dig deep and decide what's the level of your courage. What's the level of what you're willing to deal with? You follow me? And let me just say, and don't take this the wrong way, you don't appear to be a teenager. You appear to be someone who is of some age. And so depending on your parents, is a road that's not going to last very long anyway, or at least it shouldn't last long into the future. Your parents may have resources and money and all of that, but at some point you're going to have to stand up on your own. And the fact that they're able to control you and manipulate you with their support tells me that it probably should have ended a long time ago. This is your chance to do something incredible. This is your chance to really find out who you are. This is your chance to summon the angels of your better nature. Be brave, my sister. Be courageous, my sister. But know your heart, because it's your heart and your soul that knows the way, not me. My last question real quick. So I caught my boyfriend cheating on me. I'm hurt, but I don't want to break up with him. Wow, how can I rebuild the trust in our relationship? First, let me say this. This is such an interesting question. Because whoever sent me this question, you are absolutely amazing. Thank you for this question. I'll tell you why. Because there's so many people, when they get cheated on, feel like they have to go through the performance of not wanting to be with someone. When the truth of the matter is, for some people, I'm not saying it's for you, and I'm not saying it's for me. For some people, being cheated on or some infidelity it isn't the deal breaker for them. They're still willing to continue to try to find a future with the person. And we need to stop shaming people who decide that even though they've had infidelity in their relationship, that they still want to see if they can make it work. And so I think this question represents so many people who never get heard, because the thing you always hear is, if you cheat on me, if you step out on me, I'm out of here. I never want to see you again. Only to discover that most of the time that's not true. People are still in their hearts processing a love that they can't let go of, and they don't know how to deal with the fact that I'm hurt by you and I still want to be around you. But I like what you've said. You've owned it. You put it in the middle. You are looking at it directly in the eye, and you've declared, yes, I was cheated on, but I still have a connection and commitment to this person. How can we build our trust? Well, let me give you the easy answer. Both of you should be in counseling. Both of you should be in therapy for this relationship right away. Because this kind of rupture will not heal easy and it won't heal overnight. It's going to take a lot of time and a lot of work. You follow me? I'm going to say something that might shock and amaze you. You ready for this? It would be easier for you to leave than it will be for you to rebuild trust. And if you are still willing to rebuild trust, then it says to me you are thoroughly committed to this person and to this relationship. And to that I say, I think I might actually be impressed. So don't try to do this alone. The two of you can't fix this by yourselves. You need a guide, a sage, someone wise, someone with ability, capacity, someone with experience. They will be the ones to help you figure out how to get through this. But I implore you not to do this by yourself. And I honor the fact that you're honest about how you feel. You're true to what really is going on in your heart. I think that's a good thing. I can't say that I would agree with you, but I understand how people get there, all right? Thank you for tuning in tonight. Thank you, Bianca, for being on the show. Didn't I tell you we were going to have a good time? We had a great time. Y'all be good to each other, people. Y'all be kind, be generous, and remember, I love you.